The dense forest of Yetta Grove was quiet, the air thick with the scent of blooming jasmine. Beneath a towering Bodhi tree, the Buddha sat, his serene presence commanding attention without force. A group of disciples gathered around, their hearts seeking answers to questions often left unspoken. Among them, Ananda gazed at the ground, his face marked with shadows of an inner struggle. The Buddha, ever perceptive, turned his gaze toward Ananda, his voice as calm as a still river. "Ananda," he said, "your silence speaks louder than words. Share with us the weight your heart bears today." Ananda hesitated, his fingers fidgeting with the edge of his robe, his thoughts a whirlwind of insecurity. Their paths may differ, yet both ascend. I pondered his metaphor, realizing the truth it held. "Ananda," the Buddha began, "there is a story I wish to share. A story of wisdom and transformation." The disciples leaned in closer, the forest seeming to hold its breath in anticipation of the Buddha's words. I asked, "But how can one show compassion to those who seek to harm or outdo them?" The Buddha smiled, his expression serene. "Compassion is not weakness. It is the strength to rise above anger and fear." His words resonated deeply, challenging my perceptions. I felt a shift within, a new understanding taking root. "Consider the lotus," the Buddha said, "which blooms in muddy waters. Its beauty is untouched by the filth around it." I marveled at the simplicity and power of his analogy. Compassion, like the lotus, thrives amidst adversity. The Buddha paused, his eyes sweeping over the disciples, the weight of the story settling in the air. "Ananda," the Buddha continued, "jealousy blinds us to the interconnectedness of our lives, leading us to harm ourselves. Rejoicing in the success of others does not dim our own light. It strengthens the harmony of existence. Imagine a single lamp lighting many others. The original flame remains undiminished, yet the world grows brighter. Compassion is a path, not a transaction." Sudatta, a merchant, once came to me, the Buddha shared, burdened by rivalry and deceit in his trade. I listened as the Buddha recounted Sudatta's story, a tale of transformation through compassion and understanding. Sudatta sought to outdo his competitors, the Buddha said, but his heart was heavy with anger and resentment. The disciples sat in silence, the lesson weaving its way into the fabric of their beings, shaping their thoughts. The forest, too, seemed to breathe again, the wind rustling through the trees as if in agreement with the truth. Ananda bowed deeply to the Buddha, his heart unburdened, his mind clear, his spirit ready to embrace the path anew. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the gathering dispersed, each disciple carrying the wisdom into their lives. The stars emerged, twinkling above the grove, the eternal witnesses to the teachings of compassion and understanding. The Buddha remained under the Bodhi tree, his presence a beacon of light in a world often cloaked in shadow. In the quiet of the evening, the lessons of the day resonated, the echoes of wisdom rippling through time itself. Another day, another time. The forest of Yetta Grove was alive with the hum of nature's harmony. The Buddha walked toward the river, his steps light as petals falling from an open blossom. His disciples followed, their hearts curious, their minds eager to absorb the wisdom he so freely gave. Among them, Subhuti's face bore the marks of an inner storm, his eyes clouded by worry and envy. The Buddha paused near the edge of the river, its waters shimmering beneath the mid-morning sun. Turning to Subhuti, the Buddha spoke gently. "Subhuti, what troubles your heart today? Let us see its source clearly." Subhuti hesitated, the weight of his emotions making his voice tremble as he began to speak. "Master," he said, "I envy a merchant who prospers greatly while my efforts yield little in comparison." The Buddha listened, his serene face reflecting neither condemnation nor surprise, only infinite understanding. "Subhuti," he said, There is a lesson here. One the river can help us understand together. The Buddha gestured toward the shimmering water, its gentle currents weaving patterns into the surface. His advice was practical and profound, offering a path to transform not only oneself but also the world. Compassion is the antidote to suffering, the Buddha said, for it dissolves barriers and fosters connection. The Buddha knelt, taking a stick, and stirred the water until the reflection dissolved into ripples. Now, the Buddha asked, "What do you see in the water? Subhuti? Speak the truth of your perception." "Nothing, Master," Subhuti answered, his voice tinged with confusion. "The ripples have erased the image entirely." The Buddha laid the stick aside, his gaze sweeping across the faces of the gathered disciples. "The river teaches us a truth about jealousy and comparison," he began, his voice steady and wise. "When our minds are still, we see ourselves and others clearly, unmarred by the distortions of envy. But when our thoughts are stirred by jealousy, the clarity dissolves into chaos. Our perceptions distorted." Subhuti bowed his head, his heart heavy with the realization of the wisdom within the Buddha's words. The Buddha continued, "Each drop in the river flows toward the ocean, fulfilling its purpose. Regardless of its path, your journey is no less significant because it differs from another's. All paths contribute to the whole. Do not measure your worth by comparison." Subhuti, for the river does not compare its streams but embraces them all. Subhuti nodded, the clarity of understanding washing over him, soothing the unrest within his soul. "Master," Subhuti said, "I see now how my envy clouds my vision and hinders my growth." The Buddha smiled, his gentle presence easing the weight of the moment, filling it with lightness and calm. Recognizing the storm within is the first step toward stilling its winds. Subhuti, this is the path to peace. The disciples stood in silent reverence, the lesson carving its way into their hearts, shaping their perspectives anew. The river, its currents steady and unyielding, bore witness to the transformation unfolding among those gathered. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, the Buddha led the group back toward the shade of the Bodhi trees. The wisdom of the river lingered in the minds of all, its lessons rippling through their thoughts like gentle waves. Subhuti walked among the disciples, his steps lighter, his gaze no longer fixed upon the shadows of envy. The forest seemed to sigh with contentment, its ancient presence sharing in the triumph of growth and understanding. The Buddha, his figure illuminated by the dappled sunlight, continued to guide his disciples toward inner enlightenment. Another day, another journey. The teachings of compassion and unity resonated ever deeper within the hearts of all. Another day, another time. The sun bathed yet a grove in golden light, its rays filtering through the dense canopy. The Buddha sat near a lotus pond, his presence radiating tranquility, his eyes reflecting the wisdom of countless lifetimes. His disciples gathered around him, their souls yearning for guidance, their minds eager to absorb the truth he offered. Among them, Sujata approached hesitantly, her face marked with the struggle of emotions she could no longer contain. The Buddha, ever gentle, turned his gaze toward her, his voice soft but filled with the depth of his compassion. "Sujata," he said, "your footsteps carry the weight of unease. Speak, and let us understand the shadows within your heart." Sujata's voice trembled as she began, her eyes fixed upon the rippling water of the pond before her. "Master," she said, "I envy my sister, for her beauty and the praise she receives, leaving me feeling invisible and unworthy." The Buddha listened without interruption, his serene expression offering Sujata the space to reveal her deepest thoughts. "Sujata," the Buddha said, "come closer to the pond and observe the lotus flowers that thrive within its waters." His words resonated deeply, challenging the competitive mindset that often dominates human interactions, even in adversity. The Buddha continued, "Compassion can shine like a beacon, guiding us toward understanding and harmony. I see lotus flowers blooming." "Master," Sujata replied, "some in full view, others partially hidden beneath the water's surface." The Buddha smiled, his gaze shifting from Sujata to the pond, his words carrying the weight of timeless truth. "The lotus flowers," he said, "rely on the mud below, for without it, their beauty could never come to be. Sujata, you and your sister are like the lotus flowers, each blooming in your own time and in your own way. Your trials, the mud of your life, shape the strength and resilience that make your beauty unique and irreplaceable. Rejoicing in your sister's light does not dim your own. Together, you form the harmony of the pond's beauty." Sujata's eyes filled with tears as she absorbed the Buddha's words, their truth settling into the depths of her being. "Master," she said, her voice trembling with gratitude, "I understand now, and I shall honor my journey and embrace my worth." The Buddha nodded, his gentle smile illuminating the moment. "The air filled with the fragrance of lotus blossoms, recognizing your value, Sujata, is the key to dispelling the shadows of envy and stepping into the light of unity." The disciples watched in reverence, the lesson weaving its way into their hearts, each finding reflections of their own struggles. The pond, its waters still and clear, mirrored the transformation unfolding within Sujata, a reflection of growth and understanding. As the sun began its descent, the Buddha rose, his robes flowing like the river's currents, his presence unwavering. The group followed him back to the grove, their steps lighter, their hearts carrying the wisdom shared beside the lotus pond. The teachings of compassion and connection lingered in the air, the echoes of truth shaping their paths forward. Sujata walked among her fellow disciples, her spirit renewed, her gaze no longer shadowed by the weight of envy. The forest seemed to breathe with vitality, its ancient energy celebrating the triumph of clarity and acceptance within its presence. The Buddha, ever the guide, continued to lead his disciples toward the light of enlightenment and understanding. Another day, another journey. The teachings of harmony and unity resounded deeply within the hearts of all who listened. Thank you for watching. Buddha's teachings are always with you. Subscribe to our channel and we will see you in the next video.